Hey everybody, this is Fran Fraschilla, draft expert and basketball junkie. To everybody who's watching, let's get our friends at General Manager Games the subscribers they deserve. Just press that red subscriber button and immerse yourself in sports AI through GM Games content. And on Twitter, it's GM_games. Let's get after it. Let's go.
We are going live, and I am, let's see, that's set up. I think we're set up here. I can turn my camera on. We're good there. Let's see, what else do I need to do? I need to... I need to come here and here. What is going on here? Streams videos. And we will do that. And I think we're good. I think we are good to go. Yep, there's audio. Yeah, okay, I think we're ready. So we will give it a second here for anybody that is coming in at the beginning to jump in, but we're going to get started here in a sec as everything's good there, everything's good here. All right, how's everybody doing tonight? I decided to go live a few minutes early. I just watched Dak Prescott throw a touchdown pass and beat the Patriots in overtime, so I decided to get away from, I shouldn't say I'm not watching sports. I got the Braves and Dodgers on now, but if I sit and, stew in it, then I'll get, grumpy, and I don't want the cable coming out of my microphone is loose. That's interesting. Phone's beeping. All right, so we're going to get started. We are in our 15th season with the Colorado Rockies. We're through April, and I think the goal tonight, I don't really know. See if we can get up through the trade deadline. I haven't really mapped it out at all. One thing I have decided, however, is that this will likely be the last season that we play as Colorado Rockies. I feel like 15 years is a nice, it's not a round number, but it's a nice solid number to kind of end this world at. I have a couple of ideas coming up for some upcoming live streams, but we are going to play through this 2035 season. This will be the end of the line, I guess, for the Rockies. Just a quick refresher as to kind of where we are and where we've been. We have made the playoffs, 9 straight years, 10 of the last 11. We have 3 World Series championships. We've won the division the last 3 seasons. And our 3 division titles came as a second place team, which is not a surprise because that's how Out of the Park Baseball operates. They love their wild card teams, but we have 5 division crowns, 3 World Series titles, 9 straight playoff appearances with Colorado Rockies. I think things are going pretty well for us. We've played this entire thing with trading difficulty on hard, with the trading preference set right in the middle between favor veterans and favor prospects. So we've had a rough go of it with trade partners over the years, but we've done a solid job drafting. We've done a good job finding players that kind of fit our model, right? Which is kind of those high power type pitchers, ground ball style pitchers. And then really just hitters who can get on base, because the power is going to be there with Coors, right? You're going to hit a lot of home runs in Coors just because it's Coors. So you don't need any real real big time power hitters. It helps, but you can get away with, 2 or 3 above average power guys because, all that power is going to be amplified playing in Colorado. So we found, hey Breeze, what's going on, man? How are you? How was your weekend? So we found a strategy that works for us, and we've stuck with it for 15 years, and it's been pretty successful. So we're going to move on right through May. I assume you watched the football game, Breeze. And we'll just start simming here. So we start off the month with a 6-4 victory. So we started last month. We were, I guess, just quickly review it for those of you who didn't watch the last episode. So we went 17-4 in our first 21 games of the year. And then we got swept by the Dodgers in the final 3 games. So we ended up 17-7, which, all in all isn't a terrible month. But when you're 17-4, you'd like to end up with a better end or a better start than that. So at any rate, we win our first game of the month of May. We get a 3-run homer from Aguilar, Briones homers as well. Denny's been just absolutely phenomenal. He's now 32 years old. Yes, I know the Cowboys won. I watched the game while I was getting the stream set up. How was my weekend? My weekend was okay. I took Friday off, so I had a long weekend. I didn't do anything. I literally slept in and then sat on the couch all day. Yesterday, I had to call a couple of soccer games. I had a couple college soccer games to call, and then today it was a whole lot of nothing. So that was my weekend. Yeah, so Jim Denny's already 32 years old. He was our number 1 pick, or our number 1 pick, 3rd overall in 2024. 121 and 56 in his career. He's the Rockies' all-time win leader. He has been our ace for almost a decade now. So that's been it's probably the best draft pick we've had. We drafted him. Drew Jones was the top overall pick in 2022. He's been a staple. I mean, I wouldn't say he had a couple, like 3-4 solid years in a row in the middle of his career. On either end of that, he was just okay, but 2029 through 2032, he was one of the best players in baseball. So good draft pick there. And then we've just found some players like Andy Powers we drafted in the 2nd round. He's hit over 400 the last 2 seasons. That average is down to 352 this year, but he hit 420 a year ago. Let's see, Manny Aguilar was a Rule 5 guy. Rial was a draft pick. McElfresh was a draft pick. So we've done a really nice job with the draft, and that's really kind of what's propelled us here. We have had a little bit of money to throw around over the last couple of years, but it's really been our draft that has kind of been the foundation for what we're doing. 16-4 win this time. Powers goes 3 for 4. Aguilar has 5 runs knocked in. Ellis, who was an offseason acquisition this past offseason, we got him from Toronto in exchange for Josh Cabrera, who was also a Rule 5 guy. So we traded a Rule 5 guy, and we pick up an elite defensive shortstop who's going to hit 30, 35 home runs in cores. And he's only on pace for 9 wins. So, and that's worked out well so far. Let's keep going. And there goes Andy Powers with his first injury, but it's only a week, so we won't do anything with it. First time he's been injured this year. I expected more than that out of him. At any rate, those of you who are lurking, thank you for joining us. My name is Aaron. If you've never been in here before, I host a channel on YouTube called Around the World Sports. That's a link to it right there. If you're at all interested, I have other out-of-the-park baseball content on there. I've got some Madden stuff on there. I've got a little bit of everything. I'm basically just a sports video game nut or enthusiast, I guess. So a little bit of football, a little bit of hockey, a little bit of basketball, college basketball, that sort of thing. So I've got some other stuff ever since the patch. I don't know. They could have very easily won tonight. There were a couple of plays that stand out. Obviously, the pick 6 by Jones in the 4th quarter, as we lose again to the Cardinals. But the strip sack fumble in the first half, that's 3 losses in a row. That's no good. The strip sack fumble in the first half when they were up 14-7. They had the ball. They were Dallas couldn't stop them, and Gregory almost killed Mac Jones, and that kind of turned things around a little bit. So we win here 13-8. So we're 20-10. We have 5 more RBIs from Aguilar, 5 RBIs from Ellis. Denny picks up another win. And there's my phone telling me that the Patriots lost. Yeah. I'm not interested in that. All right. So we are taking on Atlanta now in Atlanta. I mean, it was clearly with Gilmore. It was a cap situation. 3-5 this month. Patriots couldn't afford to give Gilmore the raise that he wanted. So, man, here we are. They got a 6th round pick for him, and while that's not great, I mean, they'll survive, I guess. So, all right. So what happens here? And I'll be honest with you, as a long time. I'm 45 years old. I've been a Patriots fan as long as I can remember. The last 20 years have been great. So if they are in a downturn right now, it happens. I was a Patriots fan when they were 1-15. So, if they end up being bad again, I'll be a Patriots fan again. I'll still be a Patriots fan. I don't think they're going to be bad because Mac Jones is really good. But we'll see. I don't get too bent out of shape about losses anymore. But really about any sporting event outcome. I still get the highs when my teams win, but I don't really get the lows anymore when they lose. So we're 4-5 this month. Hasn't been a great start. We're still in first place. We're tied for first. The Dodgers have finally bounced back. They had themselves just an awful. It was like a 6-year span where they were just one of the worst teams in baseball, and I have not seen that in Out of the Park 22. I have not seen the Dodgers be this bad for this long. You can see from 2029 to 2034, they didn't win more than 74 games. I mean, they were just atrocious. They dominated the first half of this playthrough and have been absolutely awful the second half. So they've bounced back here a little bit. So I guess that's good. Or we were Colorado. You doubt they can make the wild card? I don't know. I mean, they're 2-4. Having that extra game this year is going to help. I mean, they could still end up, I don't know, 10-7 and make the playoffs. I mean, they could win. Well, they won't win the division because the Bills are there, and the Bills are good now. I mean, they could go 10-7 still. I mean, that's not unreasonable to think. They got the Jets next week, so maybe they right themselves next week. Another loss, so 4-6 this month now. Come on. There we go. There's a win. We'll pause here in a minute and see if we can figure out. I mean, we're hitting. I mean, we're obviously hitting. Is it the pitching? Denny wins again. It looks like he's the only one who's getting it done. Is it the pitching? Yeah, I mean, we still have the top offense in the National League. It's our starters. And there's really not. Why do I have that set as 6-man? There's really not a whole hell of a lot I can do, right? I mean, Denny, Goldberg, Real, McElfresh, and Shaw. I mean, those are our starters. Maybe we can pull McElfresh out and. I mean, do we go back to. We can put Brackman in. He's been really good as a reliever. I mean, Rocker. I'm just afraid as soon as we make Rocker a starter, he's going to get hurt. But maybe that's the right move for now because McElfresh has been bad. So we make McElfresh a reliever for the time being. Stick Rocker. Yeah, see, Rocker's stuff is way down now, too, as a starter. I'm convinced he's going to get hurt, but we'll just sort of see how it goes. Yeah, so we'll see about the wild card. I don't know. I mean, it's still early, and they still have plenty of games, and Bill Belichick coach teams tend to get better as the year goes on. What was it? Was it the Seattle? No, was it the... Which year was it where they started out 2-2 and everybody thought the season was over? I think that was was that the year that they beat the Falcons in the Super Bowl? I can't remember. There have been so many that it blends all together. So Goldberg finally pitches a good game. Yeah, so I think they'll be all right. But again, I don't I'm not going to get all bent out of shape about it. It's just a game. Hey, I got a drop. Cool. Though we do have drops activated in chat here, so if you're hanging out just to get drops, that's cool. If you want to chat. If not, you don't have to. But we win again, so that's 4 out of 5. So right at the ship here a little bit. Briones 2 hits, 3 RBIs, hitting over 300 this year out of nowhere. Real picks up the win. Another game against OKC, or OC as they're called in this. Another win, 6-5. Savchuk had 3 RBIs. Savchuk was somebody we picked up in the offseason. He made our lineup a little more even in terms of lefty-righty. We traded Eric Jasic for him, who Jasic might be the better hitter and he's the better fielder, I think, for sure. He may be a better hitter, but now our lineup is more balanced, which I prefer. So let's see if we can get the sweep over Oklahoma City. The Rockies are rocking it. Yes, sir. We lose 2-1. Stuckey was a Rule 5 guy, and he's hitting over 400 too. 406, 537, 875 in 32 at-bats. All right, 3 against Milwaukee. First game is a loss. Yeah, we've been up and down this month. Not a great month so far. Come back with an 8-4 victory. Who got the start here? Rocker gets the start, gets the win. Aguilar and Jones homer. And I'm not, even though this is shaping up to be our last season, I'm not going to gut the minor league system to improve the team. I'm going to continue as if I'm continuing with the playthrough, because who knows, I may come back to it, at some point if like I said, I have a couple ideas on the horizon, but I don't know if those ideas are going to take me through to Out of the Park 22. So I may have to come back to this to kind of fill some time as we approach OOTP 22, whenever that happens to be. So we win again, 11-5. Real gets hit pretty hard, but Brackman pitches well. Bullpen does a nice job. Our bullpen's been phenomenal this year. Second best ERA in the National League. ERA of 2.5. Still have the best offense in the National League. Hina Josa just continues to mash. We got him as he wasn't an international free agent. He was one of the free agents who shows up internationally on the first day of free agency, and we signed him. And he's been, he put up almost 10 WAR last year. He's just unbelievable. Ellis down to 277. That's fine. That WAR's down because he's not really hitting it all now. A lot of day-to-day injuries, but we can power through those, I think. And we've got 3 games at San Francisco. First game is another win. Savchuk, 3 RBIs. Ellis, just as I say, he's not hitting. 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Powers has 3 hits, got that average up to 390 now, so he's approaching that 400 mark again. Shaw gets his first win of the year, finally. He's been, I don't know, I don't want to say he's been terrible. Let's look at his, I guess I could have done this on his page too. 4.61 FIP. Yeah, so he hasn't been great. He hasn't been particularly good. Neither is Real. Goldberg's been fine. Denny's been fine. Denny's been better than fine. He's been really good. So I think, we have enough at the top of our rotation where we'll be okay. So there's another win. 4 wins in a row. 2 RBIs from Powers and Aguilar. Bowser homers. Denny gets his 8th win of the season. And we look for the sweep. 8-4 loss. All right, so now we got 3 at home against Pittsburgh. Eight 5 wins, so that's what, 5 out of 6 now? Yeah, 5 out of 6. Rodriguez, he's the center fielder. We got him in a deal with Miami to be our backup, our 4th outfielder, I guess. He had himself a good game. 3 for 4, 2 RBIs. Aguilar, average is starting to climb a bit. He's coming off a 54 and 148 year. as a Rule 5 guy. Yeah, I don't like Rocker as a starter. I'm going away from that. I just don't like him as a starter. McElfresh has been really good in his 3 relief outings. So we're going to do this. We're going to put Brackman in. We're going to make him the setup. We're going to make McElfresh middle relief, use more often. And we're going to run with that. Brackman, I don't know. I prefer Brackman as the starter to Rocker. Rocker's ratings scream reliever now with the stuff jumping up to, drops are working. Yeah, they weren't working last week because Chris didn't have his out of the park account linked to the Twitch chat. So now he does, and now they're working. So, that's good. Another game against Pittsburgh, another loss, and final game of the series against Pittsburgh. There we go. 7-0 win. Savchuk, 3 RBIs. Powers is back up over 400 for a 3rd straight season. Shaw gets his 2nd straight win, so after I badmouth him, he has back-to-back fantastic outings. 21 strikeouts, no walks in his last 13 1/3 innings. So that's good. We're 14-10 this month. So, I mean, it's been up and down, but it's still been a pretty good month. Where are we with a week left in the month? 4 games up. Yeah, so we're 4 games up on the Dodgers. 31-17, best record in baseball. Powers leads the league in hit. Yeah, I mean, we're fine. You know, you're not gonna win 70% of your games unless you're, doing something funky with trades and that sort of thing. I'm perfectly content winning 60% of my games and making the postseason every single year. So we win again 2-1. Zavorik has a couple hits, and he's interesting. I mean, I really like him as a backup infielder, but he had such a good year for us last year as a starter that he wants crazy money now, and I don't, I think his ARB number next year is 11.5. So if we did come back next year, we certainly wouldn't bring back Zavorik as a backup middle infielder, which is a shame because he's really, really good. But we've got Bowser at second for, 2 more years after this? Yeah, 2 more years after this. And Hinojosa for 2 more years after this. So if I were playing this thing out, Hinojosa would get re-signed. Bowser wouldn't. But at that point, Zavorik's going to be 32 or something. So middle infield or second base is something we would have to address down the road. So let's keep going. 7-5 loss. Savchuk gets hurt. He's out for 2 weeks. So do we want to put him on the DL? I think we probably should. Oh, good. Real's diagnosis is pending. That sucks. All right. So Savchuk on the DL, and we will call up. Yeah, we don't have a lot of options. Our minor league system is really not all that good right now. So we'll call up who do we call up? Hurst. I'd like to call up Hurst, but he's not quite. Oh, he might be ready. The only thing that bums me out about not continuing this series is that I want to see how Jared Hurst develops. He's 21 years old. I mean, he could hit 50 home runs a year. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll just call Smoker up, I guess. And hopefully Real isn't out for that long. If he is, that could be a problem, but we'll deal with it when they. And he went 8 innings. So Real went 8 innings, got pulled in the 8th. Jones hits his 7th home run of the year. Keep our fingers crossed that it's a minor injury as we finish the month off against the Mets. Another win. Rodriguez gets suspended. So Brackman was in a groove, they said. How'd he do? 7 innings. Cool. In his first start of the year. Home runs from Jones, Ferguson, Ellis, and Aguilar. What's going on in the Dodgers-Braves game? 2-1, bottom 2. Hinojosa up to 350. We'll look at stats at the end of the month. I just, and I'm not really interested in making any deals in the first month or two of the season. Do I play Perfect Team? No. I did the first year it came out, but I haven't since. I'm not a huge fan of the pay-to-win type stuff, and I played Perfect Team when until I realized that I was just going to lose to people who bought all the cards, and I just wasn't interested in that. It's no different than like EA, whatever they call it, the you haven't opened pack since the first day of school. Yeah, EA has their whatever it's called, like they've got like the hut and the mutt and all that stuff. That just doesn't interest me. I'm not. I guess I would say if I was going to do that type of thing, Perfect Team is exactly how I would do it, though, because I have no interest in playing somebody online in a game of Madden or a game of, NHL 22 or whatever. But something like this where I don't have to deal with the hand-eye coordination and I can just set my lineup, set my roster, and let the game engine sim, like that, I could potentially get behind that, but I just have no interest in buying the cards. So I probably wouldn't do it, but people love it. I mean, obviously people love it. It's been a huge boon for out of the park baseball. Work stuff. Sorry, hang on just a second. All right, sorry. Leave my phone over there, and my employees can just leave me alone for now. So Josh Goldberg's been really bad, and this is really concerning because we paid him $35 million. Yeah, Perfect Team is just setting lineups in the game engine simming right, but the people who are going to be the most successful are the ones who are buying the cards, right? The ones who are buying the packs, unless I completely misunderstand how it works. If you buy more packs, you have more options of getting better players. And I just, I give Out of the Park Baseball my $35 every single year. And I have for a decade and a half at this point, and I'll continue to give them my $35 every single year. I just can't, I play multiple online leagues. I've put 2,000 hours into just about every single Out of the Park. We were looking at this. Last stream, but I've put 1,800 hours into Out of the Park 22. I've put almost 2,000 into Out of the Park 21, 1,900 into Out of the Park 20, 2,100 hours into Out of the Park 19, and 2,100 hours in Out of the Park Baseball 18. And those are just the 5 that I have on my Steam page. I've been playing Out of the Park Baseball since OOTP 7. I just like that type of thing just doesn't appeal to me. But they're obviously, like I said, it's really, really successful for them. So, more power to them. So what do we got going on? Stuckey got better. Hinojosa got better. Denny got a little worse, is expected as he's 32 and has a lot of miles on that arm at this point. Adonis Giron, batter of the month. Chris Holmes in the NL. Brad Duncan, pitcher of the month in the AL, and Pat Liu in the American League. AL Rookie of the Month, Garrett Kanemitsu, and in the NL, Tim Anderson. Different Tim Anderson, obviously, but Tim Anderson nonetheless. All right, so it's June 1st. What is up, Expos fan? How you doing tonight, man? Having a good weekend, I hope. So we are 34-19, a 3-game lead on the Dodgers. We have the top 3 hitters in the National League. Manny Aguilar's second in RBIs. Hinojosa's first in OPS. Denny leads in wins and WAR. And let's pause and take a quick look at our stats. And I can't stay away from my phone. That's just sort of the way I am. Yep, so Real is still pending, so hopefully we get a note about him here relatively soon. The longer it goes, the more concerned I get, obviously, because I really would rather leave McElfresh in the pen for now because he was just really bad as a starter. But if Real's out for any length of time, I don't really have any other choice. So, pitching stats. Denny 8-1 on the year, FIP of 306, 198 ERA plus. He's been, he's doing the same thing he does every year. Like I said, Goldberg's been really bad, which is concerning. BABIP's a little high, so I'm hoping that comes down and everything else comes back in line. But his ERA plus is under 100, so he's been below average. I mean, what is going on? He's giving up more home runs, obviously, because he's in cores. He's walking fewer. This is weird. He's walking fewer. He's striking out almost exactly the same. And he's given up more than a hit in innings. So that's hits and home runs. I mean, that's a recipe for not good in Colorado. But I'm hoping he can bounce back because he's making $35 million a year for the next 6 years. That's not where I wanted to go. I want to go here. Shaw is third on our team in WAR. Been slightly above average. Munez has been fine this year. Real. Cool, I got another drop. I keep getting the notifications, which I guess is the whole point, right? Let's see what else. What else is going on that we want to take a look at? Satterfield not having nearly as good as a year as he did last year. Rocker out of the pen hasn't been particularly good. Offensively, we continue to just rake. You know, I'm never concerned about the offense in cores. We always find a way to get it done offensively, even if we have some people struggling. Drew Jones only at 96 OPS plus, Ellis at 95. But, you know, we continue to get it done because, you know, Hinojosa is a monster and Powers is a monster and Aguilar hits a ton of home runs. So we'll be fine offensively. Do we want to call up any of our young players? How are they doing in AA? 295, 382. Yeah, he's ready for AAA. What about Bobby Kirby? 244, 326, 561. I mean, his stats say he's probably ready, so we'll just call him up and let him go. Bouchage, he's ready as well. ERA of 2.5 in 6 starts. You guys watching the Braves and Dodgers? Or do I have your undivided attention? Because I'm watching the Braves and the Dodgers. Do we make any other moves here? I don't think so. What I do want to do, though, is let's take a look at the trade block now that we're into June and see what sorts of options are there. Not much. Yeah, we're still a little early, I think. Oh, that's just batters anyway. Still not much. A couple of relievers, but we don't really need... See, I guess that's the problem, is assuming Real isn't out for any significant length of time, our pitching staff is basically set because we're not going to bump Denny or Goldberg or Real or Shaw. I mean, maybe we bump Brackman if we can find a better fourth starter. You're rooting for the Braves. Yeah, me too. And I was rooting for the Giants. I would have preferred a Red Sox-Giants World Series, to be completely honest. But with that out of the way, yeah, I'd go for the Braves. Go for a Red Sox-Braves World Series. So assuming Real's not out for any real length of time, you know, maybe we upgrade Brackman, or maybe we just, you know, let McElfresh kind of stew as a reliever for a little bit and then put him back in the rotation, you know, beginning of July or something like that. But there's nothing to really upgrade here. You know, I mean, if we suffer some injuries, then yeah, Peoples is fragile and he gets hurt every single season. Rocker's fragile. He's an injury waiting to happen. So we may have to make a move based off injuries. But if we don't have anybody that gets injured, we're pretty set on both sides of the ball. Put Smoker in there. And then against lefties, we'll put Stuckey in. We're pretty set on both sides of the ball, offensively and on the pitching mound. So, yeah, nothing really on the trade block yet. It's still early though, so we'll get through June and we'll see what happens. So, first game of the month is a win, and we still get no message about Real, and that's really, really concerning. The longer this goes, Denny gets the win. He's 9-1. So we got a 3-game series now against the Padres at home. Ooh, 6-5 loss. Oh, come on. There we go. Still nothing on Real, huh? Okay, so apparently he's fine. Whatever. Apparently he's fine. So we win this one 9-3. Who got the start? Brackman. Brackman's 2-0 as a starter. Zavorik homers. Aguilar homers. Zavorik drives in 3 out of the top spot. Briones has 3 hits. I don't know where this is coming from. 324, 380, 541 as a 34-year-old catcher. I mean, he's forced himself into the starting line. I mean, maybe that's something we can look at. But if he's hitting like this, there's no reason to upgrade. If he continues to hit like this throughout the year, there's no reason to upgrade. But maybe a catcher, because our catching situation is pretty solid defensively with Briones and Neal. But offensively, it's lacking a little bit. But I wouldn't sacrifice the defense to get a better hitting catcher. Am I a Giant? No, I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm not one of those people. I don't believe in rooting for multiple teams. I'm a Red Sox fan, which is why once the Red Sox get knocked out, I lose most of my interest. If the Sox don't make the World Series, I probably won't watch much of the World Series at all. Briones to the 429. Yeah. I mean, it's the chances of him keeping this up over the course of the year is negligible. I mean, when you look at he's a backup catcher. I mean, he's the definition of a backup catcher. But I'll ride it as long as I can, right? I mean, if he keeps hitting like this, there's no reason for me not to continue to let him hit. But yeah, I don't root for multiple teams in any sport. I'm a Boston sports fan, and that is it. I'm watching this now because the Red Sox are still in it. But if the Red Sox were out, I wouldn't be watching Dodgers-Braves right now. It's just, I'm a Boston sports fan, and when my teams are out, the only sport I will watch, regardless of who's playing, is hockey. I'll watch the Super Bowl if the Patriots aren't in it, but I'm usually doing something else while I'm doing it because I don't care about the outcome. I will watch most of the Stanley Cup Finals because hockey is my favorite sport. So, but yeah, if I had to pick one, I would have picked the Giants, but I'm not a Giants fan, no. So we win again, 3-1. Ellis has 2 hits and an RBI. Smoker with a couple of doubles. Shaw with another solid start. And we keep trucking along here at 37-21. Savchuk gets hurt. Still, he's out longer. That's not good. Like to get him back in the lineup here at some point soon because Powers is bound to go down. What was my reaction? I was happy. They played really, really well. That top line of Marchand, Bergeron, and Pasternak is still one of the best lines in all of hockey. They had a rookie goaltender, Swayman, in net, and he was terrific, and they played really well. I was very, very happy about their first game of the year. The only thing that bothers me is the season started Wednesday night. They didn't play until Saturday, and now they don't play again until Wednesday. So they play 2 games in the first week of the season, whereas every other team's playing 4 games. So I'm just sort of sitting here twiddling my thumbs waiting for the Bruins to play. Yeah, Swayman is going to be a stud. He's going to be really, really good. Goldberg finally pitches a good game on the road, albeit. Hits a home run. Powers hits his 6th. All right, so that's a win. So we went 2 out of 3 against Washington. Now we're home against the Cubs. Yeah, I mean, it's weird watching the Bruins and not seeing Tuukka Rask out there. He's been a staple for the Bruins for, a decade? 11 years now, something like that, 12 years. So it's weird not seeing him out there, but I think they're going to be fine with Swayman and Ullmark. So I don't know how many people in the chat are hockey guys as well, but hockey's my thing, man. I absolutely love hockey. In fact, where's my Bruins flag is actually sitting behind me. That's as soon as the baseball season's over, my Bruins flag is going to go up there, and I've got my Bruins hoodie on right now, and I've actually got my Bruins slippers that I wear. So, yeah, hockey's my first love. Hockey is my first love for sure, which is why I was stoked when the Out of the Park guys came out with Franchise Hockey Manager 7, because I can never find a hockey sim that, for me, really did it. But that game's awesome. So Eloy Jimenez hits his 500th career home run. Spent most of his career with Atlanta. Well, I shouldn't say most. Was better with Atlanta than he was with the White Sox. But 500 home runs for Eloy. Good for him. Final game of the series against the Cubs. 4-0 win. So back-to-back solid pitching outings. Smoker has a couple of hits. Jones with a home run. Jim Denny with a no-hitter. There we go. Jim Denny throws a no-no at age 32. Walks 2, strikes out 10. You like to see that. So let's see how that ninth inning ended. We sent him down 1-2-3. Ground out, strikeout in the ninth. So Jim Denny throws a no-hitter. So if someone... How good is FHM with the historical stuff? What do you mean? Like in terms of... like if you were to start like in the 60s or something like that, how accurate is it? Or because I mean it's the same as out of the park baseball, so you can go back to 1914 or whatever the first year was of the NHL, and the game will automatically update as teams fold and change where they're from and that sort of thing. I have found that if you long term you want to play as you can. Just go back to whatever year you want, and they'll be there. You can also keep the Nordiques from moving. So if you didn't want them to go to Colorado and you wanted to keep them in Quebec, you could do that. You can create an expansion team. They've got the logo, so you can start over as the Nordiques. You can go back to, it's the only complaint I have with their historical is that if you play long-term historical, like I went back and I started in the first season and I simmed ahead until the Bruins came into existence, and I took over the Bruins and I simmed 40, 50, 60 years, and by the time I got into the 60s and early 70s, like around the WHL and stuff, I was winning like 73 games a year. Because unlike out of the park baseball, generally speaking, the stars in FHM will stay as stars. Now, I don't know if that's changed over the years. I don't know if the developmental engine is kind of more mirrors out of the park baseball, where you could draft Babe Ruth and he could turn into a bum. But if you draft Wayne Gretzky, he's going to be Wayne Gretzky, and he's going to be Wayne Gretzky right off the bat. So. It's a little too easy if you go like long term to build like a total powerhouse. But if you want to hop into the early 80s and pick up the Nordiques and play for 10, 15, 20 years, well, I guess by that point you're back up to modern day, and it's kind of a crapshoot at that point. But, if you go back into like the 30s and 40s and want to just, play up to modern day, it's going to be fairly easy to build a pretty dominant team. But I don't care. I still love it. I still love Out of the Park. I can't wait for FHM 8. I will be, whatever day FHM 8 is released, I'll be taking that day off. I'll probably be taking the next day off as well, and I'll be posting my new FHM playthrough. And so long answer to tell you that the game is awesome. And if you like hockey, I mean, if you're an Expos fan, I assume you're from Montreal. Or Canada anyway, and it probably means you were born a hockey fan. But yeah, no, you can absolutely, they do a good job with it. So that's 3 out of 4. What the hell? There we go, 7-2 win. So we got a pinch hit home run from Ferguson. It looks like, yep, in the 6th inning. Hinojosa, a couple hits, couple RBIs. Denny is 11-1. Let's keep going. You're from Quebec City. Is it Quebec or Quebec? Which is correct? I've heard both. I call it Quebec, but I've heard people say Quebec. Oh, come on. Why do we keep losing? I don't want to keep losing. Where are we? So, oh, crap. Look at that. We are tied for first place. The Dodgers have caught us. So that's no good. We got 3 games on the road against Cincinnati. Both are okay. All right, so we win 12-1. Savchuk is back, so that's nice. Get him back in the lineup here. Jones has 4 RBIs. Yeah, Moreno's down to 298, although he did have 2 hits in this one. Smoker's actually hit the ball. He's hit for some power. Like, where did that come from? Did his ratings increase? Yeah, I mean, his overall potential got worse, but his ratings continued to get better. That's really bizarre. Yeah, his power took a hard spike over the last year and a half. All right, well, that's good to know. All right, so we got to get... I don't know if I want to send him down, though. I feel like Ferguson... I feel like Ferguson's the one to go down, even though he's hot, too. He's only hitting 217. So Ferguson is going to go to AAA. Ferguson has to clear waivers to go to AAA. So I guess that means Smoker is going to go to AAA for now. And we will call Savchuk back up. Get him back in the lineup. Hey, Chris. Yeah, drops are working. They are working fine this time. I've had a couple, and I know Breeze got at least one, too. So, yeah, no, it's working. It is working this time, but, yeah, so it's working. Drops are enabled, and you have company, but you hate missing. That's okay, Chris. It's, you do what you got to do. I'm just hanging out with Breeze and Expos fan, and we're talking about FHM, actually. So, yeah. Well, you're a Canadian, too. You should love FHM. You should love hockey. I figured you guys just sort of got a copy of that. Well, there's another drop. As you were talking about it, I got another one. So, anyway, where are we? So, it's the 18th. We're still tied for first. Real hasn't been good. McElfresh has been much, much better in the bullpen. I mean, as expected, his ratings get much better as a reliever. You can see 1.42. But I need him as a starter. He's far more valuable to me as a starter. But Brackman continues to, his last start notwithstanding, has had 3 pretty good starts in a row. So we'll continue to let him go. Second game at Cincinnati. There's another win. But yes, drops are active, so got a bunch of people in here just sort of hanging out, getting drops, and that's cool. I appreciate you guys coming and sitting in the channel, even if we're muted and you're just gathering drops. That works for me. Ellis with a couple RBIs. Hinojosa homers. Real goes 7 2/3, striking out 12. He's so hit or miss. He's had a couple of really good starts this year and a couple of real stinkers. And he's still on pace to throw almost 200 innings, so not going to complain about it. And the final game at Cincinnati, we got the All-Star break coming up here. So we sweep the Reds. Savchuk 2 for 5, 3 RBIs. It was a pretty solid pickup for us, kind of really going, now we've got switch, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty. Well, the bottom of our order is pretty righty-heavy with Bowser and Jones, but bottom of the order I don't care quite as much about. There, Brackman with another win. 2 home runs for Savchuk, Hinojosa homers. When we get to the end of the month, we'll take a look at the trade block again and see if maybe there's a catcher there. See if we can see. There aren't. I've gone through and I've looked at a lot of the catchers. There aren't a lot of high quality catchers right now in our world. They don't exist. So I think it's part of the reason I've kind of stuck where I've been, because we just haven't had many options. So we win this one in the 10th. Denny's been so good this year. 11-1 with a 2.20. He's on pace to go 24-2. He'll probably still just end up with like 15 wins this year. There's another win, 3-0. That was Chris tweeting out that I'm live. Thank you, Chris. Goldberg with another solid start. He's now 6-6. That's what almost, yeah. I mean, his last 4 starts, he's had the one bad one here against the Dodgers, but no runs, 1 run, no runs. What do his splits look like? Yeah, 1.95 ERA in June. So He's kind of rebounded a bit here in June, which is nice. We need those 2 starters, and let's see what happens going into the All-Star break. We won 5 in a row. Can we make it 6? No. So we lose 4-2. We're 47-28. Still tied for first with the Dodgers. 7 games up on the Braves. I went to Chipotle today, and the girl gave me 3 scoops of chicken in my bowl. That's how I knew this was going to be a good day. But I can still feel it in my chest. All right, let's look at the All-Star games. All-Star game roster. Did we have anybody make it? Denny, of course, is the All-Star game starter. Satterfield made it. Offensively, Briones made the All-Star team as a 34-year-old. Backup catcher is having a career season. Hinojosa made it. Powers made it. So Powers, Hinojosa, Briones, Satterfield, and Denny. So 5 All-Stars this season. I'll take it. Prospect game. Anybody here? Smoker. And that's it. Really, that's it. Wow, he's gotten. I gotta find a way to get him into the lineup. He can't field at all, though. At all. Yeah, he can't. It's really bad. I want to see something. Let's do this. Let's see what sort of catcher return we can get. Oh, good. Nothing. Literal garbage. A catcher who can't field. I have no interest in that. That's right. We have 2 new teams in the league this year. I forgot about the Memphis Swashbucklers. All right. So let's get to July, and then we will look at the trade block and see if maybe we can. I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll make a move to make a move because it's fun to make trades. Imagine singing "Can't Touch This." I know most of the words to that. I also know every single word to "Ice Ice Baby," and there's no incentive for me to sing it, but I know every word to it, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. Anything interesting going on? Andre Jimenez is retiring. We got 3 games against Atlanta to end the month. Finish off the month, and then we get to July, which is obviously an important month for us. So that's 6 out of 7 here down the stretch in July, which is obviously a good thing. Briones to it. Denny has 3 hits. Bowser homers, Jones homers, Ellis homers. Drew Jones having a really nice bounce-back season. Back-to-back OPSs of under 700. OPS pluses of under 80s. Having a nice year. 1 home run away from 200 on his career. I don't know that, I don't know that he'll ever be, I shouldn't say worthy of the number 1 pick. He's been really good for us. And he's been with us forever, so I'm really happy. So the next home run will be 200 for him. Denny gets the win. What is he now, 12-1, 13-1? 12-1 with a 2.17 ERA. Let's go. Game 2 against Atlanta. A 4-2 win, so that is 7 out of 8 now. 3 hits from Zavorik, 3 hits from Goldberg, who's hitting .350. I was going to say, he's not a two-way player. He's just hitting .350. And he had another good start, 5 1/3, 2 runs, 6 Ks. Satterfield does what he does. Another home run for Hinojosa. So we've won 7 out of 8. Look to make it 8 out of 9 to finish off the month. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit I know a lot of the words to a lot of really cheesy late 80s, early 90s stuff because, I was in junior high at that point, and that's stuff that I listened to. Andy Powers is out for 5 to 6 weeks. There it is. I was waiting for that. It gets Smoker back up, I guess. All right, so we need a left. We need a left fielder in the lineup. I mean, Stuckey's just not ready. Ugh, she's so bad defensively. I mean, I'm okay with Stuckey playing against lefties. I don't want to bat him there necessarily. Well, maybe we'll do something like that. But against righties, I don't want to just stick Rodriguez out there because he's not. I mean, he can hit okay, but then we don't have a backup outfielder. All right. Well, let's pause. Let's start with international amateurs. Let's see what's available. So you got a lot of offensive options this year. Ganba Magis. There's the midseason shoe drop. Yeah, no, you are 100% correct. I mean, it was a matter of time. If you look at, I don't know if you followed along with this, but if you look at Powers, you look at his injury history, it is long indistinguished, as they would say. He started in 2029, and he is always friggin' hurt. Always hurt. He's already been hurt 4 times this year, a sore thumb, hip soreness, an oblique strain, and then a sprained knee. In 2034, he was hurt 8 times, 7 times. So he is always hurt. But he's also hits like a truck. I mean, he's hit 400 the last 2 seasons. So we take the good with the bad, and this is part of the bad. So anyway, welcome to the channel. Yeah, it's why I have to have a good backup outfielder, because we know he's going to get hurt. We just know he's going to get hurt. So I would love to keep Smoker because he was a homegrown. We drafted him in the 10th round, but I literally have no place to play him. I mean, he's unplayable in the field, and we don't have a designated hitter. So actually, let's go back. You know what? We're here. We're looking at it. So let's see what sort of interest there is in Smoker. With him being a 3.5, 4-star player, I imagine there's going to be some interest, and there is. Ganba, thank you for coming into the channel. I think I just said that, but thank you anyway. I appreciate you jumping in and saying hello. We got Eddie Moreno. No. It's going to be all bullpen arms, isn't it? I mean, some of these guys aren't bad, like Jimmy Slacks. I mean, he's a 2-way player, and he could play. He could be that backup outfielder we're looking for, and he's an excellent bullpen arm. So maybe we send him over to Chicago and let the Cubs deal with him. Maybe we can get Slack and Heinrichs. Jonathan Peters, no. I'd prefer a youngish outfield bat, but, you know, so would everybody, I guess. Bobby Fuentes, he's not terrible. He's got 3. He's almost, I mean, he could be a starter. He's got enough stuff to be a starter. Let's control, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make a trade for somebody that could be something. Like, those 2 guys on the Cubs weren't terrible. Slack's the ticket. You'd go for him. Yeah, I want to see if there's something else there. So we'll scroll through the rest of the teams and see if there's a better option. But I think you're probably right. I mean, it's clear that there's some demand for him because I'm getting 5 offers from every single team. So that tells me that there is definitely some interest. Not that I can be super picky. Like, if we go back here, I just want to see all batters. Yeah, see, it brings up Slack again. Yeah, I think Slack is probably the go-to. Gets us a 2-way player who can help us in the field, who can also help us on the mound. he's not bad, but yeah, I think you're probably right. So let's go back. I want to see if I could get both of those players from the Cubs. Because they're both classified as relievers, I'm guessing the game's going to undervalue. So it was Slack, and who was the other one? He was on the big league roster, right? Who the hell was it? Yeah, Heinrich. I don't want to give up any of those players for him. Well, let's just submit the deal because they'll probably come back to us with some better names. So we'll submit the deal here and see what sort of response we get. What was it? We were doing international amateurs, right? And guys, I want to just again welcome those of you who are lurking and listening and watching and gathering drops. My name's Aaron. We're in year 15 of our Out of the Park playthrough with the Rockies. We've won 3 World Series titles. We've won 3 straight division titles. We have 5 division titles overall. We've made the playoffs 9 straight seasons. It's been a really successful 15 years for us, I think. So, and I am probably, well, this is really bad. This is probably going to be the last year. I have a couple of ideas that I'm going to be, I think. So one of the things I want to be doing, so you guys tell me what you think about this. I want to do, and I've seen this done a lot in NHL Let's Plays, but I want to do a sort of like a draft to glory kind of playthrough where we take control of a team and we can only rebuild that team with players that we've drafted, either through the first-year player draft or the Rule 5. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to start it. Do I want to start it as an expansion team and all of the players that I draft in the draft are my drafted players? Or do I take over a team that currently exists and then anybody on that 25-man roster or in the minors that wasn't initially drafted by that team, make them free agents? Those are the 2 ways I'm considering starting it. I haven't really thought through exactly which one I want to do, but that's probably coming up here in the next couple of weeks. I think this will probably be the final season of the Rockies. I feel like 15 years is a good number and a good pausing. And I don't really like any of these international free agents at all. I guess Mario Fangio is okay. Good defensive middle infielder. I mean, we'll throw some money at him because we've got it, but I'm not really crazy about any of these players. So, all right. So, I want to see what the Cubs say to us regarding Smoker, and then we will pause and take a look at the trading block. So, all right. Hendry Coote is the batter of the month in the American League. That's a phenomenal name. Hendry Coote. Brad Kruger in the NL. Mike Anfinson of the White Sox is your pitcher in the AL. And in the National League, Steve Skark. Rookie of the Year in the AL, Ken Nelson. And in the National League, Dave Cavici. All right, let's sim ahead today and see what sorts of answers we get from the Cubs. All right, so we lost. So we're 49-30. My owner's still unhappy with me. I love it. 5 straight division titles or whatever it is, 3 World Series titles in 15 years, and he's unhappy with my progress. So, whatever. Expiring personnel, we will bring back our coaches. And I'll bring back our first base coach. Yeah, so now they're asking for a lot less. You want 33-year-old Drew Woodcocks? You can have him. Is he in AAA? Or is he in AA? Where is he? Where is this 33-year-old? Am I just blind? He's in rookie ball because I'm a moron. Because I signed a bunch of 3-star veterans and then forgot to move them to other leagues because I'm a dum-dum. So we'll submit that. And we will keep going. Actually, let's just quickly do this. Set our minor league systems up. How's Hurst doing in AAA? 236, 303, 438. Not great, but he is only 21, so he's likely not ready this season, which is a shame, but that's okay. Kirby's hurt. He's out with a sprained ankle. All right, so let's see if we can get that deal to go through with the Cubs. We got the draft coming up. Yeah, all my vets are in rookie ball because I'm a dummy. Yeah, no, I signed them all right at the end of free agent or right at the end of spring training and then forgot to do anything with them because I'm, as we've established, dumb. So they're all now in AAA. So we win 5-4. No word from the Cubs yet, so hopefully we get an answer here shortly. Zavorik, 2 RBIs. Shaw picks up the win. Hopefully we get an answer after this game here. And that was bound to happen. Peoples was bound to get hurt as well. So hopefully this deal goes through. Aguilar with 4 RBIs. Bowser with 2 RBIs. Zavorik, Denny's 13-1. Still no answer. Oh, right, because the day's not over. Come on. You want Maddox Bruns too? Fine. I don't care. You can have him. Come on, just accept the deal. I don't like that. They tell me who they accept, and then I offer them that person. See, now they're saying no way. Like, okay, all right. So let's remove Bruns, and let's just give them somebody that they want. Who was it that I think it was. Is it Peoples? I'm okay giving up Peoples because he's always hurt. So you want Rice Peoples? You can have him. You get heartburn thinking about it. I know, because you love your prospects, Steven. I get it. I get it, man. But we're going to do it anyway. So Goldberg pitches well, doesn't get the win. Ellis homers. Briones continues to hit. And we will keep simming. Another win. So 4 wins in a row out of the chute here in July. Aparicio hits a 3-run pinch hit home run. Hinojosa's not hurt, is he? No. So our relief pitcher hits a 3-run home run. That's super. Real doesn't get the win, but the bullpen does well. Hinojosa, Aguilar, and Jones also homer. All right, now we got to pause. Let's take a look at the trade block now since we're coming up on the draft. Old friend Luke Lito on the trade block. I would love to bring back a Luke Lito. He's not really hitting or pitching anymore. He was a stud for us for a few years, guys. He put up, look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight seasons of at least 4.3 WAR. He was really, really good as our leadoff hitter. Doesn't look like there are any catchers worth really emptying the coffers for here. Yeah, if you look at, we go to players and we look at, just bump this up to like 61 or something, and you search on all catchers, there's really not a ton here. You look at some of the ratings, it's just not very, I mean, there's like here, you got a, stud catcher here, but, what's it going to take to get him from Cleveland? I mean, I could try, but it's unlikely to happen. And then from there, we've got 6 catchers who have a defensive rating of at least 60 because every single year for the draft, who just hit a home run? The tie game? Yeah, who just hit that? Freeman? Man, he's good. He's going to make... Oh, it was Jock Peterson. Yeah, every year we draft a high defensive catcher, so we end up with this big long list, and I always hope that one of them will break out and end up being a stud, but no luck yet. We're not going to trade with the Dodgers. I don't want to pay Zion Rose $13 million for a fragile catcher. The Mets have got he's not even all that good, so you can see there just aren't a lot of good catchers in this world. Which is why I've sort of gone cheap with it, because there just hasn't been anybody worth going after. This is a pipe dream, but, what if we start with Bobby Kirby? I must be joking. Is there anything that we could offer that would make this work? Yeah, those are our 3 best prospects, and they're just not interested. So, yeah. That's as to be expected. But, yeah, there just aren't any good catchers. So we go with what we have. We run with what we have. And we're still waiting to hear back from the Cubs. We're trying to finally lock down that deal and pick up a couple more arms and a backup outfielder. Finally. So we're going to send Dan Smoker, who looks like a truck with the bat, but just absolutely has no position. I thought about maybe sticking him in left field, but that 6 range is going to make it just impossible. He just has no position. He's better served in the American League, where it could be a DH, but I'll make him the Cubs problem. And then Drew Woodcocks, we signed him as a minor league free agent just to have some depth. And then Rice Peoples, who isn't bad, but he's always hurt. He's pitched 25 games each of the last 3 seasons. And we will get Jimmy Slack, who is a two-way player. He is very, very good defensively in the outfield as well as the infield. He doesn't really have much range. So he's he's probably a first baseman since his range is fairly low. But, I guess he could maybe play third. But more than likely, he's an outfielder who's got a pretty good contact bat. I'll make a good 4th/5th outfielder and will be a good arm in the pen, as well as Pete Heinrich, who is just going to be sort of some depth. Good stuff, couple good pitches. So, yeah, he can play third a little bit. The arm isn't great. The arm was only a 50 or whatever, so it wasn't a fantastic arm, but you're right, he probably could. Oh, I got to go in and I got to accept the deal. All right, so now we should have 2 spots on our 40-man or on our 25-man, 26-man roster, which we do. So we'll put him there, and we will put him there. So now we can, so against righties, what do we get? How are we going to, because we got to do something. We got Powers back in like a month. Okay. So, is it Hurst time? I'm kind of leaning towards calling up. Yeah, we don't really need 14 pitchers, so I think Heinrich can go to AAA, which is fine. And I think it's time to call up the kid. Let's call up Jared Hurst. And we're just going to go right for it. Against righties, he's a beast, so we'll let him bat third against righties, and then against lefties, he'll sit on the bench. And then our backup outfielder will be Jimmy Slack. So let's go ahead and use him as a 2-way player. Lineups, make Slack our backup. Well, actually, I should probably make him the defensive sub. That's probably what I mean to do here. Because I don't particularly care if he gets any at-bats, but I want him as our defensive sub, primarily for Hurst, because Hurst can't field either. But Slack's a first baseman. Height is a bonus. Has bottom of the lineup outfielder. Yeah, right. Yeah, but as a backup outfielder / bullpen arm, he's fine. He's a ground ball pitcher who throws 100 miles an hour. For cores, he's perfect. He's gonna strike out a ton of batters. He's gonna get a ton of ground balls, so the walks won't hurt him quite as much because he's got really high movement. And then offensively, if he never bats, great. he's not going to embarrass himself at any of the 3 outfield positions, and he may hit, for I know, but that experience will come quickly. I'm not worried about that. He'll pick up left and right relatively quickly, I would assume. But yeah, I mean, he's perfect as a backup outfielder / bullpen arm for what we're trying to do in Colorado. So I am happy with that one. I do have to set what I want him used as. I guess we'll make him long relief and him middle relief. Cool. All right, so we've now won 5 in a row. He'll get experience in left as he goes. Yeah, right. Yeah, as he subs in, he'll be fine, and his ratings suggest that it'll be relatively quickly too. So, game 1 at Milwaukee. Schedule's weird. A series that starts on a Saturday. Game 2. No, let's avoid the sweep here, guys. They want to send us Mike Brommer and Juan Rodriguez, getting Darius Black in return. I mean, I don't really have a spot for Black in our lineup anymore, but I don't know that that's the return I would want for him. In fact, I know it's probably not the return I would want for him. But if they want him, does anybody else want him? Time for the kid to go play in the majors. Yes, it is. And I'm also doing that in part because I don't know how much longer, like I said, this will likely be the last year for the Rockies. So I want to see how he does. I want to give him some playing time. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not interested in trading him for any of that. So, all right. So last game before the draft. I guess technically we'll play this game on the 11th before the draft too. So, and we get swept. Shoot. We're still 3 games up, so we've lost 3 in a row, but we have a 3-game lead on the Dodgers. Still have the best record in the National League, so I can't complain too much. Denny's at 13 wins. He's 13-2. Still on pace for 24 victories. All right, let's sim. Let's get up to the draft. I'll sim the game. It'll tell me I still have to do the draft. So we win 8-2. The day of the draft, so Hurst, 4 for 5, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs in his, what is that? I guess he's played a bunch. I guess he played a bit. So he's 6 for his first 15, 2 homers, 3 RBIs. Wow, his ratings got better like as soon as we called him up. Is that a thing? As soon as we called him up, his ratings all got better. I mean, I'm not complaining about it, but okay, that works. 4 for 5. Jones has 2 RBIs. Aguilar 2 RBIs. Real gets the win, and it's time for the draft. And I haven't even looked. So we're picking 32nd. They have us taking who? Josh Patterson. He's not terrible. He's not really a center fielder, but he's not terrible. I don't even want to look and see who's available that we're not going to get. So we're just going to start the draft, and we'll sim to our pick. Does it really, Expos fan? I haven't, I don't know, I guess I haven't noticed. But yeah, that was something. He got immediately better, so I guess we called him up at the right time. All right, so half of my brain says get one of these relievers in case somebody gets hurt. You can call them up for the stretch drive. Neither of them are ready though. And I hate picking relievers with my first overall pick. Sean Holloway, he's not terrible. This is the kind of pitcher I like for Coors though. Ground ball pitcher who could throw nearly 100 miles an hour. Happened to you with Larry Walker. Well, Larry Walker's a stud, so but yeah, no, I never really thought about it. I never really looked at it, but I mean, hey, either way, I'll take it. This is a really, really bad draft. They think we should take Chris Watson. I guess. He can play really any of the infield positions with those fielding ratings. He's also good in the outfield. His contact's not bad. Gap power's not bad. He's got some speed. I mean, he's not terrible. Jesus Huizar. A lot of 2.5-star bats, none of which are particularly good. Yeah, I think Watson's actually probably the best option here. He's got one of the best bats. Let's just quickly see if... That's not what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. See if there are truly any pitchers in here that are actually batters that are just... Yeah, not really. Not really. All right. This was the guy it said they thought we were going to take, but we're not going to take him. So I'll take that shortstop. That's fine. I'll take Chris Watson. He's cheap. Bat's good enough, I think. Defensively, he'll be all right. He's got some speed. He's 21. It's fine. Let's draft him. Yeah, I mean, we're already down to like nothing. I mean, this is just a crazy bad draft. Patterson's available still. Let's go back to the pitchers. Were any of those? This is just gross. Awful, 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 awful draft. He's not a center fielder. And I guess he could play corner outfield just fine. He's so bad. He's so bad. So bad. All right, let's go here. We're already going to individual pitch potential. Already. That didn't take long. I'd rather take somebody like this, Billy Brunker. Illinois State. He's got 4 potentially good pitches. Stuff's okay. Movement control needs some work. Technically play in the field, too. Danny Padilla. I think Padilla might be the pick. He's 21. This is how we got Gabe Satterfield, was by looking at pitchers, looking at their pitch ratings. Satterfield, when we drafted him, if you look, when we drafted him, when did we draft him? What year was that? 2026. So in 2026, he was, his potential control was like a 25, and his movement was a 42. And he was able to fix his control. His movement jumped up to a 55, and he's become a stud bullpen arm for us. Stamina wasn't quite good enough to make him a starter, but, that's how we found him. So maybe Padilla can go kind of down that same path. So we'll take Danny Padilla, I guess. Let's look at Hernan Diego. Yeah, we'll take Padilla. It's fine. I don't care. And, yeah, now we're picking in the 4th round, I think. Yeah, because we signed Goldberg in the offseason. So let's see if there are any more. Eric Kaminsky's 22. It's not a good draft. I'm really, really disappointed. It's always a bummer, right? When the draft sucks, you kind of plan on finding that young stud that can help you down the road, and you're left with a bunch of trash. Let's go to fielding. Find our catcher. Is that my phone beeping? Catcher. Oh, I'm not even looking at catchers. No, it's not. Okay. Olivios Flores. He's really good. That might be the guy. You just look for somebody who has a tiny bit of hitting power or hitting potential. Who was it? Like Jake Respes. Got a little bit of hitting, but the catcher rating's bad, the arm's bad. We're going to take Olivieros Flores. I don't know that he's ever going to hit enough, but he's very, very good defensively. If the bat develops at all, he could be a good backup catcher. Any fun guy like, yeah, let's look at that. Let's look at that. No knuckleballs. No screwballs. Oh, this sucks. Circle change. There's one guy with a circle change and he's a catcher. Forkball. You got one forkball. Cutter. That stinks. That's the splitter, sinker. Oh, because I'm looking at... Yeah. Okay, so still knuckle. No, there we go. We got a couple of knuckle curve guys. Ed Cleveland out of Boston. I mean, drafting Ed Cleveland out of Boston with his knuckle curve. I mean, he's terrible, but that seems like fun to me. And here you go. Gili Katan, a 4-pitch reliever. He's Israeli, was a Duck. I don't know how much. I mean, he's 1.5 star, 2 star. I mean, OSA likes him. Maybe we take a run at Catan. Draft meme players. All right, if we're gonna draft meme players, then we got to draft Ed Cleveland out of Boston with the knuckle curve. I think that just makes sense. I guess there was a guy I missed. I can't remember if it was this playthrough or one of my other ones. No, one of my other playthroughs. Apparently, I missed somebody whose name was like Precious Lamborghini or something, and somebody called it out in the comments, and it's just like those are the fun ones. All right, so we're gonna take Ed Cleveland out of Boston. And from there, I don't know. How do you find meme names? Do you just search through the list? What do we want to look for? Let's look at... Let's look at outfield defense. Let's see what kind of studs we have here. You've had Canadian players with the last name of Canada. Well, sure, of course. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So Alex Davila. I mean, he's a stud defensively. I like players like this because if nothing else, even if he never hits, he's gonna be a fantastic defensive player. So we'll take Alex Davila. And if we find any fun meme type players, we'll take them as well. I think I want to take him too, just because he's good defensively. It's not my pick. Now we're going to take him. Let's see. Let's look at... What do I want to look at? I don't know what I want to look at. Let's look at infield range. Danny Gooch has a 91 infield range, because of course he does. It's bizarre. Infielders. We're just going to draft a bunch of infielders, or a bunch of defensive players in this draft. Jonathan Boger out of Nashua. He was born about 15 minutes from where I grew up. And he's awful. OSA likes him more than we do. Maybe OSA is right. We're both average. Jonathan Boger. We'll take him. We'll do one or two more, and then we'll see about making our team better for the stretch run here in July. Let's just go back to batting potential, all players. We got any power bats? There we go. Steve Corbin. You got to take the 94 power bat, right? Or that's OSA. Here you go. Brett Emerson. Here's a pitcher who's actually a hitter. How he fell this far, I have no idea, but that's our pick. Steve Corbin, sure. With the 82 power, we'll take him. Get some power in our lineup. Estala, we'll take him because he's got some power too. And that's good. So we did 11 rounds. It's fine. That was an awful draft. Draft a meme team. How do you look for meme names, though? Like, you literally just have to search through the whole list, right? Like, I don't have time for that. I'm sure you guys don't have time to sit here and watch me do that. That was an awful draft. That was an awful draft. We do have to remember to make Emerson a hitter when he accepts the offer. All right, so let's see. 3 games up, 55 and 35. What do we need? Start with the lineup. We're set at first. We're set at second. We're set at short. We're set at third. We're set in the outfield. Our backups are fine. We've got Zavorik backing up at second and short. We have Ferguson backing up at first. Our outfield, we have Rodriguez and Slack backing up. So I think our offense is fine. Again, if we could get a catcher, that would be fine, but there aren't any. I mean, you guys saw the list. There just isn't anything there. You can create your own meme. Oh, okay. I see. I got to remember, I'm up there in years. All I know about, when I find a meme, it's a already created meme. I'm not about making my own. Pitching, you could always use more starting pitching, I guess. But again, who do we bench? I mean, it would have to be Brackman. I would just, based on, I don't know. I mean, I want to put McElfresh back in the rotation. So maybe it's a starting pitcher, and then we do something with somebody else. I mean, most of our relievers have been really good. So maybe a starting pitcher, but even then, is anything here going to be an upgrade over what we have? Jonathan Barragan. He's making $25 million. If I could get Arizona to eat most, there's no starting pitchers here at all. These are all relievers, except for Barragan. What would it take? Can we even get him? Yeah, but he wants an arm and a leg, and I'm not giving them any of that for this guy. He's not really that much better than what we have. So I don't know that we're going to be making any deals here. So literally anything can be a meme. That seems kind of, I don't know, like if everything's a joke, nothing's a joke. You know what I mean? I get that Precious Lamborghini is just a ridiculous name, but if everything is a joke, then nothing is. I guess is the way I look at it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just no fun. Maybe that's the other thing. That could definitely be a thing too. All right. Well, let's sim ahead. I don't know. Let's sim ahead like a week, and as we get closer to the trade deadline, we'll go back and we'll take a look. So we win again, 13-8. A lot of offense in this one. Savchuk 4 for 6. Aguilar and Ellis each drive in 4. Jones has 3 hits. Brackman has 3 hits. He gets the win, even though he gives up 5 hits, 5 runs, and walks 5 and 6 1/3. Seeley didn't pitch well. McElfresh has done really, really well as a reliever. 32 strikeouts in 19 innings. ERA plus is 335. Yeah, he's been really good as a reliever. But again, he's more valuable to us as a starter. So it's ideally where he would end up. But yeah, again, you know what, here, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look. I can't remember. It may have been one of my Rockies. Let me go back really quickly and look. Let me see if I can find it. That's the wrong video. There it is. In my Kansas City Royals playthrough, I passed up somebody named Napoleon Lamborghini. Somebody made that comment in the chat. Let's see. Well, 31-35. Where is he? Yep, Napoleon Lamborghini. He's a 21-year-old third baseman. I mean, he was terrible. That's why I didn't see him. He was a 1-star player, but Napoleon Lamborghini is his name. Yep, which is better than Precious Lamborghini, if you ask me. So we went 11-6. So we put a beat down on the Giants in this series. 32 runs in 3 games. Offense was cruising. Denny's 14-2. Savchuk a couple of homers. Ellis with his 19th. Aguilar's up to 31 knocks on the year. He's on pace for another 50-plus home run season. We take on the Pirates. 7-2 win. So 4 in a row. 9-4 this month. I'll take it. I'll take a 9-4 month. Aguilar with another home run. Jones with a home run. Savchuk with a home run. Goldberg goes the distance, striking out 11. You don't see many complete games these days. Another win, 6-3. So we won 6 in a row, then lost 3 in a row. Now we've won 5 in a row. Ellis, couple of hits, couple of home runs. Hurst hits a home run. He's hitting .310. I don't want to say Powers is getting Wally pipped because I don't know how you can Wally pip someone who's hitting .400, but it means that Hurst is likely to stay in the lineup against righties if he keeps hitting like this. For sure. For sure. All right, so game 3 at Pittsburgh. We'll get to this day off here, and we'll look at the trade block again and see if there's anything. Hey, random task, how you doing? How are you in the airport? Are you on the plane? Are you... Oh, you can't hear. So if you can't hear, then you can't hear me talking to you. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, Goldberg's turning things around, which is huge considering how much we paid him. Up to 8-7, 3.2 WAR. He's, over slightly above average on the year. I mean, if he ends the season 14-12 with an ERA of 4.5, I probably won't be thrilled with it. But given where he was at the end of May, I'll take it. And again, he hasn't been particularly good in July. He was really good in June, though. So there's a couple of months to really kind of improve on things here. My guess is he ends up, 4.2, somewhere in there as we lose 2 in a row. 9-5 win, 60, our 60th win of the season, 60-35. Neal with a couple of hits. Denny picks up win number 15 on the year. What's he on pace for now? 26 wins on the season is what he's on pace for. All right, let's get through this Phillies series and the Mets series, and then we'll trade block. Oh, we've lost 3 out of 4. Come on. Very streaky team this year. 11-5 win. A 7-run 4th inning does it for us. Savchuk drives in 5. Hurst drives in 4. Shaw picks up the win. He's been lights out the last 3 months. Yeah, I mean, he was terrible in April, but he's 8-1 in his last 14 starts. It's been terrific. He has been terrific. So is Savchuk. I like that .331 batting average. As long as he can stay healthy. All right, so we got, 2 more against the Mets before we take another pause? 11-3, so we went 11-5 and 11-3 on back. And Hurst is just, he's making it look easy. 6 home runs in his first 14 games, 13 RBIs in his first 14 games. Striking out a bunch, 22 strikeouts, only 3 walks. But, he puts up a 1246 OPS. I'll take it. And let's finish this series against the Mets. Another win. Man, our offense, look at that. 11-11-13 against the Mets. What do we have happening in this one? Aguilar's over 100 RBIs before the end of July. He's got 103 RBIs in 98 games. He's on pace for 56 home runs, 169 runs knocked in. He was a Rule 5 draftee. He's been amazing. Hinojosa, again, having another great season. Did Brackman get hurt? Yeah. Oh, Savchuk got hurt again. Oh, he's just day-to-day. Okay. Brackman's injury is back tightness for 5 days. All right. We'll just let him battle through it, I guess. All right, so maybe that's a sign that we do want to find ourselves a pitcher. All right, so did all of our draftees sign? They did. So let's go and let's look at our draft history. Who was it? Emerson? Yeah. What are his ratings? All right, so he's a left fielder. Fine. Whatever. It's that position, left field. All right, well, that works. Watson, we will disable his promotion. Let's go back down here real quick and just do that with him and him. And I don't really care about anybody else. So Tucker, he's no good, so he can have his. I disable the AI promotion for anybody who's not a reliever who is 2.5 stars or higher. That's just the way I've always done it. You went and bought a Jim O'Rourke for $222K only to pull a 100 Ricky. Oh, you pull that Ricky Henderson. That's, I mean, now you can just turn around and sell it, right? I mean, is that $222K? Is that a lot for? Because I haven't done Perfect Team since the first year it came out, so I don't know. Relatively speaking, when it first came out, $200K was a crap ton. That's your points back if you want to cash in. All right, well, maybe find a way to get them both in your lineup at the same time. That's an option as well. So yeah, basically anybody that's 2.5 stars or more that isn't a reliever, that I generally will disable the promotion and handle it myself until they prove that they're not a big league caliber player, and then I'll back out on it. But yeah, just find a way to get them both in the lineup. That'll work for you. I don't even remember. Like I said, I think I did Perfect Team. Whatever the first year was. Was it 29? Was it OOTP 29? I think that was the first year they did it. 2018 maybe. I don't remember. But I did it the first year, and I just couldn't. I didn't have the time to keep up with it. So I missed a lot of sims and things like that, and I just, my teams were terrible, and just whatever. So. All right, so what do we got? We got Dan Bilger from Oklahoma City is on the trade block. He's quite good. He's exactly the type of player I like in Coors, the extreme ground ball. Danny Gonzalez, who used to play for us until we traded him. Okay, so now there are some pitchers on here. Let's talk about Bilger. So they want Powers, Ellis, or Aguilar. 3 players I'm not prepared to give up. Let's start with Kirby. It's a very bad deal. Well, it does change things a little bit. Aparicio. He's like the only bullpen arm I don't want to give up. Take Andy Frank. Yeah, like picking up Bilger just to trade Shaw doesn't make any sense. I had one reliever. It was this guy, Sheridan. Or maybe they want, what's his name? Maybe they want Heinrich. Nope. What about Sheridan? Not even close. It's because he makes no money. He makes under $2 million. That's just a ton of value. 19 was the first PT. Yeah, that's what I thought. I had an account and I checked it. I would say for the first few weeks, I checked it religiously. I waited for the countdown and I opened up my new packs as I got them, and I bought players and things like that. But I could see how quickly I was falling behind, just not doing it every single day. And it just went, and I just decided against it at that point. But again, like I said this at the beginning of the stream. It's obviously been hugely successful for the OOTP people. So I'm certainly not going to sit here and tell them that, like I'm not going to sit here and badmouth it at all. They've obviously it's obviously been a huge success for them. So, all right, now we're getting into something I can work with. So we can bring back Danny Gonzalez, who's 8-3 with a 2.61 ERA this year. Wasn't particularly good last year, but he's an Iron Man. He has 5 great pitches. I could give them Kirby, and they wanted Seeley as the other one, right? So if I throw Seeley in there, which I'm totally fine with. Throw Seeley in. Let's take Kirby out. Okay, so they need Kirby. That's fine. You can have Kirby. I don't care. It's fine. So what do you guys think? Bobby Kirby and Bobby Seeley for Danny Gonzalez? The thing is, you're always going to be behind the biggest spenders. you're F2P on this team, and you've been yo-yoing between Diamond Leagues and Gold Leagues. Yeah, right. And that's any sort of game that requires you to spend money to compete. That's what's going to end up happening. You're going to fall behind the people who are spending big money on it. And honestly, I would I've gotten into a couple of online leagues this year, and to me, that's more fun. Like I mean, I don't know if it's because it's free or not, but to me, playing the I want to see if I can do this without Kirby. To play the games against other people in that setting to me, is more. I like that more than the perfect team thing. But again, I'm clearly in the minority, and that's totally fine. Out of the Park's doing really, really well with it. So, all right. So I'm gonna see if we can do this because it says we're close. So I'm gonna just submit this, and we'll sim ahead of day, and we'll see if we can get them to come back to us with a better offer. Because I'll give up Kirby if I have to, but I'd rather not. Yeah. So they want something significant. Okay. So we can. There's got to be a way we can do this without Kirby. There's got to be. There we go. Right there. So we will give up Andy Frank. We will give up Bobby Seeley. And we're going to send Frank back to Arizona, who we got in the Gonzalez deal back a couple years ago. So we're going to send Escudiero, Seeley, and Frank to Arizona. Can we get them to eat any of the contract? 20%? Fine. I think this is a good deal. Gives us that extra starter to try to push us over the edge this season as we look to win in year 15. So we give up Escudiero, Seeley, and Frank, and we get back Danny Gonzalez. That works. Cool. So we will put him on the big league team, and we got to call up a reliever, and I think that reliever is going to be... Who's it going to be? Heinrich, just because he's got the experience. All right, so now Gonzalez will go into the rotation for Brackman. Brackman becomes a long reliever along with Heinrich, and now our rotation is really, really good. Denny, Goldberg, Real, Gonzalez, and Shaw. If any of them struggle, we have McElfresh, we have Rocker, and we have Brackman still waiting in the wings. So that works. And our pitching staff, frankly, has not been terrible. Our starters are up to 7th. Our bullpen is number 3, so... That was a good deal, I think. I think that was a good deal. But you actually answered something for me there, Ganba. I wasn't sure if Perfect Team was even playable if you didn't spend money. And it sounds like it is, as long as you're content being kind of in those, middle range type leagues and stuff. I think I got out of silver once. And it dropped me right back like the following season because I got absolutely smoked my first year in gold. So it sounds like you can do it, which is good to know. Maybe it's something I'll check back out again. Not that I have a ton of time between my YouTube stuff and my the stuff I do for GM Games and the online games that I play and everything else. But I do want to one more time. That's my YouTube channel. If there's anybody here that's interested in checking out the other stuff I have. If you're willing to put in some extra work market-wise and keep up with the streams to get... You see, that's the problem is I have, a regular full-time job that I work from home. So it's not like I can't, I couldn't sit and get drops, just sit and watch, leave the stream open all day. But I also... probably 25 hours a week on top of my normal job, I broadcast sporting events. Like I do play-by-play for high schools and colleges in the area, and I do a lot of youth hockey and that sort of thing. So I'm never home except for when I'm I'm never home except for when I'm sitting in front of my computer, streaming something or recording a video or something like that. So I don't have a lot of spare time. I mean, I guess I could do it late at night. Like, I know a lot of the out of the park streams run in the evenings, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and I could probably make those. And I probably should. Like, I used to go to I used to watch TJ's streams religiously. Every single week, I used to watch his. It was last year he was doing the White Sox, and this year he started with Arizona. And I used to watch those religiously, and I would just stay there the whole time. I would stay in the Out of the Park YouTube channel pretty much all night, because it would go from Out of the Park Baseball to FHM, and I would just sit and I would watch them for like 3 or 4 hours at a time. All right, so that's it for the trade deadline. We're just gonna keep going here. We'll probably get through August, maybe, because I'm probably only gonna do 1 or 2 more videos after this. It's crazy. I've lost track of how many videos I've done for GM games for the Colorado Rockies. We're in our 15th season. I've done anywhere between 4 and 6 videos per year, so I've got to be reaching 60 or 70 videos on this playthrough. Goldberg with another great outing, and it's been fun. I don't want to give it up, but at the same time, I want to try something new. I want, once this baseball season is over, I want to kind of do some interesting stuff between now and the end of the year, or when the next version comes out. So, yeah, I don't know. Ellis, it's a grand slam. Is that a grand slam? Yep, grand slam. Savchuk homers, Bowser homers, Ferguson homers. Gonzalez picks up a win. Look at that. 6 innings, 5 walks, 12 strikeouts. Heinrich does a nice job in his first outing. Are there any left-handed arms in... Do I not have any lefty? I've only got Brackman. I don't know. Let's look. Where can we go from here? Where does it show it? Right there. Lefties. Anybody any good? He has no hustle. He's hurt. He doesn't really have any splits. I guess if I was going to get a lefty, it would be somebody who was a true lefty. Like, I can't trade for this guy. I'm not going to make a trade with San Diego. If I were to pick up a lefty, I would want it to be a true lefty, like, lefty killer kind of thing. Mosqueda's not bad, but who do I get rid of if I pick up somebody like this? You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem. If you look at my rotation, or you look at my bullpen, I don't want to send Slack down because of his ability to play both ways. That becomes less of an issue, though, once Powers is back. When is Powers back? He's back in a week. So that becomes less of an issue with Powers back. So we could just send Slack down. Let's look at upcoming free agents. Maybe we can do it that way. Mike Cope's not bad. Garrett Crochet, fly ball pitcher. Crochet's not a bad option. He's got 2 really good pitches, fastball, slider, really, really good against lefties. Can't imagine it would take much to get Crochet, right? Really? Like, come on. Really? I'll give you Darius Black. Like, this is just dumb. I mean, maybe it's because they're in win now mode, but that just seems ridiculous. So let's go here and let's find a player who throws lefty, who's a reliever, who has got good stuff and good movement. I don't really care about his control. That's it. There are 4 pitchers in all of baseball who meet this criteria. Sullivan used to pitch for us. We could bring him back. This just seems ridiculous to me. What if we do that? Okay, so that 5-point thing made a huge difference, apparently. He plays for the Yankee, or for the... He's actually better against righties. He's not there yet. He's pretty good, but he's not there yet. I mean, Sullivan's not terrible, I guess. I mean, he'd be pretty good against lefties. I mean, if we can get him for, like, nothing. Like, this is ridiculous. Like I get that I have trading set on very hard and it's intended to make trading very hard. I get that. But, like, come on. Come on. He's a 3-star, 30-year-old reliever who you signed as a minor league free agent this past season, and you want one of my best players for him. Like, you're dumb. Let's go back and let's drop the movement even more. And let's see if that works. I mean, that could be the issue there, is the movement. And I guess the movement isn't as big an issue if he's a ground ball pitcher. The Sullivan has 3 pitches to the eye. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very good point. Oof. Wouldn't mind picking up an Eddie Rasmussen. But the AI, I guarantee you the AI considers him a starter, as they should. Marcelino Vespucci. That's a name. I mean, if I don't care about control, I mean, here's my guy, right? I mean, how's he done in AAA? Walking 7 batters per 9. Yeah, that's too much. That is too much. It's 6 control. That was great. That was fantastic. Jonathan Peters, no. Apparently the Astros have cornered the market on those types of pitchers. It just, there doesn't appear to be that, does not appear to be many kind of left-handed stoppers. They won't trade him. No, they might, but he's not really ready yet. Crochet was the one that really kind of piqued my interest. Again, as soon as you started talking about it, like, Crochet was the one that I was interested in, but they want an arm and a leg for him, which is just dumb. He's not terrible. Here we go. Doug Schindler. Oh, he's out for 11 months. Damn it. Of course. Andy Beck. They won't. Futrell. Ooh, Olinger. Would you trade me him? I mean, he's a 24-year-old 4-star reliever. I'll give you my 4-star. We can have Sheridan for him. Okay, we're gonna work backwards here, right? We're gonna do the out of the park baseball thing where you work backwards in a deal. So they like Napolitano. So we could do. Let's see how they would feel about Coronado and Napolitano. So let's see how they would feel about that. And I've already forgotten their names. Napolitano and Coronado was the other one, right? Shit. Okay, that's fine. Sheridan's a righty. He's really good against lefties too, but this guy, 89 stuff, 73 movement, 58 control, ground ball pitcher. This feels like the right move, even though it's with the Giants. So if we have to give you... Let's back these two guys out here again. So if we give you Alvarado and Napolitano, would that change it at all? Nope. I don't think it's going to work out. I think we're going to have to give up Aparicio. Yeah, we're going to have to give up Sheridan, which is fine. That's fine. I don't care. So we'll give them Sheridan and Napolitano for Dave Ollinger. So Ollinger's not as good a pitcher. He's not nearly as good against righties, but he's really, really good against lefties. Sheridan doesn't have the control. Yeah, I'm fine with that. He's in high A, though. Who is? Ollinger? Yeah, I mean, he got time with him this year. They may have rushed him. But if we can limit him to just lefty, I'm not concerned about his, like, where he's playing. I'm looking at his ratings. And as a lefty specialist, as the last guy in our bullpen as a lefty specialist, I feel like that's not a terrible move. And we're moving him for a piece that, while good, is, let's see. Did we already trade? I'm confused. All right, fine. I mean, I think to give us a little more balance in the bullpen, I think this makes sense. Sheridan's pretty good. He's probably overall a better pitcher than Ollinger is, but for what we need, I think he's going to be fine as a lefty specialist, kind of the last guy in the bullpen. He's got really good stamina, so in a pinch, he could be a starter if we needed him to. I mean, that changeup is, that'll never develop, but he's a ground ball pitcher, high loyalty, high work ethic, low greed, so I'm fine with that. And because we get Powers back in a week, we can... So Heinrich is... We're going to send Heinrich down, or do we send Slack down? Heinrich. Slack is more versatile. Where is he? Is he designated for assignment? Yep. All right. Let's go to pitching, set him up as a specialist, and I mean, if we just leave him as a specialist and have him pitch against nothing but lefties, we should be okay there. All right, so where are we? So we got 4 games left here in the month of July, and we win 3-1, and we lose Savchuk again. Damn it! All right, so we win. That's good. Ellis has 3 hits. Jones, wow, Drew Jones having a really, really nice resurgence here at the age of 31 after back-to-back really, really awful seasons. Really bouncing back here nicely. Shaw gets another win, and now we got to put Savchuk back on the DL. And I think... So we get Powers back. We'll pull him off the DL now. And I guess we just go Rodriguez against righties and against lefties. Yeah, against lefties. We're just going to put Rodriguez out there for the next 5 days. That's fine. We're going to move Jones up in the order against lefties. And once Powers is ready, we'll stick him back in the lineup. So who's this guy? 9-0 with a 2.60 ERA. Ian Baker is not that good. Wow. He's having a year, though. Having a year. 5-4 win in 10. And we walk it off in the bottom of the 10th inning. The rookie, the kid, Jared Hurst, walks it off in the bottom of the 10th. He now has 7 home runs in 74 at-bats as a 21-year-old. Ellis is up to 24 home runs, 68 runs knocked in. Denny is denied his 16th win of the season. Look at that, Ollinger. Did they pitch him against? I want to see something. So he came in the 8th, right? 7th. 8th. So Rocker. This game, man. So I set it up to have him pitch as a specialist against nothing but lefties. He strikes out Groh, and then they have him bat against 2 righties. Whatever. And then they pull him with back-to-back lefties coming up. Back-to-back. It's so... Yeah. This game. Look at this. So he pitches the 9th, right? And he goes righty. He goes lefty, righty, righty. So instead of bringing in Aparicio in the 9th to face a lefty and 2 righties, and then bringing in Ollinger in the 10th, where you've got 3 lefties out of 4 batters, they do it the other way around. Minimum batter rule, maybe, but he still should have pitched the 10th instead of the 9th. Like in the 9th inning, you bring in your closer, have him pitch the 9th inning, and then in the 10th, he's got 3 lefties here out of 4 batters. Anyway, we won, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but it's just one of those things you see that's like, it's just dumb. Come on. We win again, 5-4 again. We don't walk this one off, though. We take a first inning lead and don't look back. Rodriguez, 3 hits. Aguilar, a couple of RBIs. Goldberg has that ERA down to 4.14. There we go. Ollinger pitched here, gave up a hit and a walk, but got the hold. And it is the trade deadline. I think we're just going to sim it. We've made our moves. I'm happy with our moves, and we will continue on. So we win 7-1. 5 RBIs for Hurst. He's been really, really good, to say the least. 9 home runs, 19 RBIs in 22 games. 5 RBIs. Real gets the win. That ERA is down to almost 4. Do we have Powers back yet? We don't. He's back in 5 days. All right. 2-2, top of the 6th. Runner on 3rd. A.J. Pollock at the dish. 1 out. 1 out? Yeah, 1 out. Infield in. Interesting. Player development. Yeah, Denny's starting to get worse. Oh, his movement took a big dive there. 59 to 55. That was in the 60s at the beginning of the year. It's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. Goldberg got better. Hinojosa got better. Yeah, Hurst got a ton better. And the rest of our minor leaguers are trash. So AL batter of the month. Gleyber Torres, now of the Houston Astros. 38-year-old Gleyber Torres. 524 home runs. Almost 2,600 hits. 60 WAR, now playing for Houston. NL batter of the month, Manny Aguilar, 36 home runs, 107 runs knocked in. AL pitcher of the month, Ben Sommer. In the National League, Chris Christman. Yeah, the Nationals have just an unbelievable pitching staff. Garrett Kanemitsu wins the AL Rookie of the Month, and no surprise, Jared Hurst wins it in the NL. 317, 9 home runs, 19 runs knocked in. And yeah, we're going to keep going for a bit. I don't know if we're going to go the full 3 hours. I'm starting to get a little tired. It's been a long weekend. I know I'm tired because my eye's twitching. And we'll try to get through the end of August, and we'll see how that goes. So let's continue on. 5-3 loss. I didn't even check to see where we were in the standings. I should probably do that. Wow. A 10-game lead. Okay. That came out of nowhere. So the Dodgers kind of fell off a cliff in July, which, I mean, hey, good for them. 69-39, best record in the National League by far. Second best record in baseball behind the Jacksonville Maulers. One of the first expansion teams that we brought in, or that came into the league, I guess. When did they come in? They came in a long time ago. Yeah, 2023. And they've been pretty successful. They won a division title in their 5th season, 95 and 67. They've had 3 straight winning seasons. They've been really good, at least recently. Two straight playoff trips. Good for Jacksonville. And they've got Hendry Coote. Hendry Coote. All right. Colorado. So I think next Sunday, if this continues like I normally do, what'll probably happen is the midweek video that I put out on Wednesday on the GM Games YouTube channel, that will probably finish the season. And then next Sunday, we might do just like a recap of the world. You know, we got through our 15 seasons. We'll go back. We'll look at some of our favorite players, like Sam Wesniak. See how he's doing. He was having a great year this past April. He was the AL Batter of the Month in April. His ratings are still there. 27 home runs, 84 RBIs, on pace for another 40 home run season. He has been a monster. He's 15 home runs away from 500. He may get it this year. He's going to need a couple of good months. Almost a 400 on base percentage over 1,600 games. Yeah, he's good. Does he go in? He's got to go in as a Rocky, right? If he goes in the Hall of Fame, he's got to go in as a Rocky, I would think. But we'll go back. We'll look at our favorite players. We'll, look at some of the seasons and stuff. Recap the world in some 15 to 20 years to see if any of your guys make the Hall of Fame. That's actually not a bad idea. That's not a terrible idea. Or maybe that's what I have to do. Because we're losing 3 out of 4. I think what I might have to do is do the sim first, like between Wednesday and Sunday, sim ahead 15 or 20 years, and then come into the live stream next Sunday and recap everything, because I wouldn't be able to sim 15 years in a 3-hour video. It's the game, because I play with all the leagues on, because I like that variety. Stop losing. It's 4 out of 5. I wouldn't be able to sim that long. I wouldn't be able to sim. Can we win a game? Thank you. Oh, but it cost us our second baseman, so there's that. I don't know that I could sim 15 years in 3 hours right now. So, tell me Denny got hurt too. This game's going to test me right to the end, isn't it? It's going to test me right to the bitter end. All right, so we lose Bowser for 3 weeks. We'll call up Rodriguez. Zavorik will become our starting second baseman. Rodriguez will back up there. And there. It's not the right guy. And we got to get Powers in the lineup. So Powers will go into right field. Rodriguez will back up against lefties. Powers will stay out there. We'll bat him here, though. We're missing our second baseman. We're missing Zavorik, right? The tomahawk chop, that's still a thing, huh? I didn't realize that was still a thing. All right, so we finally win a game. It only cost us our second baseman. But yeah, I think what I'll do, it's a good idea, Expos fan. I think that's what I'll do. So when I finish the video on Wednesday, I'll sim ahead. It's 2035, so I'll sim up to like 2050. And that should basically be the careers of everybody that's on our roster now, including, you would assume Jared Hurst, and we'll just sim through until like 2050. And then next Sunday we'll do a stream to kind of put a bow on it, so to speak. And then, I think I'm going to do a draft to glory style playthrough. I haven't quite figured out how I want to start it yet. What I was thinking was that I was going to pick a team, whatever team, pick the Rockies, and I was going to go through their major league roster and their really all of their minor league systems for anybody that's over like a 1-star player. And anybody that wasn't drafted by that team, I would just go into commissioner mode and I would make them a free agent. So it would free up the money on my payroll. Not that money would be an issue because I'm not signing any free agents. And then, random task. And then I would start my team with kind of whatever was left. So you take a team like the Phillies, for example, like Aaron Nola would be one of my pitchers because he was drafted by the Phillies, but I would commissioner mode Bryce Harper and make him a free agent and let him sign with whoever he wants to. Yeah, random task. I feel like that makes sense with this because, I mean, I've been doing this Let's Play now. International, yeah. July 1st, international free agents, the first-year player draft, and the Rule 5. And that's it. That's the only way I would be able to bring people onto the team. So we went 8-1 here. Zavorik, a couple of hits. Stuckey, a couple of hits. Goldberg, 15 strikeouts in 7 innings. He has figured it out for sure. His last 3 months, he's 7-3 with a sub-3 ERA. He's been terrific. First years, yeah, no, absolutely the first years will be rough, but that'll be the fun of it because, like, you saw the draft here this year. Like, I just sort of slammed through it because it was like, all right, well, this draft sucks. So I just want to draft as many good players as I possibly can, as quickly as I can, and then just move on. Well, now those drafts are going to be actual, like, I'm going to have to take my time, and we're going to have to really, fiddle around with it and find the best possible players based on what we need. So it'll be fun. I've never tried it with baseball. I tried it in, or I didn't try it. Like I said earlier, I've seen a lot of people do that in NHL, the NHL series, a lot of draft to glory stuff with NHL teams, or, I can only draft players that are from Quebec, or I can only have American-born players on my team or something like that. So it should be fun. But that's the kind of stuff I want to do between the end of this playthrough and when Out of the Park 23 comes out. I want to kind of do some unusual stuff. Like Random Task had a suggestion for me last week where we try to do a one-season challenge. So we take a bad team like the Royals and we try to win it all in 1 year. So, no, you're right. No, that's absolutely right. The first few years can be rough, but that's where I'll use the Rule 5 to sort of balance that out a little bit. Because if you're smart about it, you can make 7 or 8 Rule 5 draftees. My Kansas City Royals playthrough that I did on YouTube, my first Rule 5 draft, I think I drafted 7 players from the Rule 5. So, but I think one of the other things I want to try is a 1-year challenge. So take a team like Kansas City and try to win it all in 1 year. So you basically have to trade all of your prospects for established veterans and try to win all in one season. Setting your game in the 50s or 60s might be a good idea. Players tended to enter the league much. Yeah, that's true. When you draft somebody really even pre-1990 in this game, you can get a lot of players up within that first year or two. You can get a lot of players that are immediate. So that may be something I do. I don't really know, but that's going to be my next thing once we're done here. So next Sunday will be that retrospective, as Random Task called it, and scouting discoveries. Those are all considered free agents. So we're going to dump all of our money into scouting and development. So I'd like to find a team, as we lose 2 in a row, that isn't considered a big market team necessarily, but might have a larger budget. So I'm not going to do the Yankees. I'm not going to do the Red Sox. I'm not going to do the Dodgers. I was thinking about maybe the Phillies. I haven't looked at their rosters up front or their budgets up front, but that's the kind of thing I'm thinking. Like, maybe the Cardinals, they're sitting here in front of me. I want a team that's got a decent enough payroll that I can dump a ton of money into scouting and development right off the bat. That's really kind of the only, not cheat that I want to give myself, but that's really the only starting point I want to give myself, as a team that has a decent starting budget so that I can put that money into scouting and development right off the bat and not have to, build like I did with the Rockies, where I had to build for like 3 years. The Angels, that's another. They don't have a huge contract. They don't have a huge payroll, or they have a huge pay. But I would start off with Trout, which, I guess wouldn't be a terrible thing, but I would start off with Mike Trout as part of my team. And that's kind of the other thing, is I don't want to start with any real superstars if I can help it. I'd like to build it from scratch if I could. So I'll have some time to think about that. So we win here 11-8. Denny picks up his 16th. I don't know if he's going to get to 20. He was on pace to win 26 games earlier in the year. I don't know if he's going to get there. Jones homers, Aguilar homers, Hurst is up to 10 home runs now. So I've got some time to think about it, so I'll do some research, and I'll find a team that maybe has a couple of decent players, but a moderately sized budget. And I can find. The reason I brought up I was thinking about the Phillies. That was one of the first teams I was thinking about because, I was thinking about they've got Aaron Nola, they've got what's his name, the first baseman, Alec Boehm. But I would have to give up Bryce Harper. So that's kind of where I was leaning, but I haven't really done much research yet. So literally the highest price player. It would be nice for him to make the playoffs. Yeah, but by the time we're good, he won't be part of it. So it might be interesting to let him go to make him a free agent and see where he ends up. But man, we keep losing. What the hell? We're 6-9 this month. We still have an 8-game lead though. So yeah, I'll have to take a look at some teams, look at their rosters, look at their budgets, and find kind of the best combination. And that's what I think we'll probably go with. So I'm looking forward to it. I was thinking about it last night when I was getting ready for bed, and stop losing. And it kind of got me jazzed. So it should be a lot of fun. But yeah, you're right, Expos fan. Those first few years are going to be rough unless I can do really, really well in the Rule 5. And if I can draft my entire lineup out of the Rule 5, the one thing that the Rule 5 has going for you is that you find a lot of Jesus, come on. You find a lot of inherently flawed players, but a lot of players that are good at particular things. Are you kidding me with this? You can find some players who are really, really good defensively, but can't hit. You can find some players who can hit really, really well, but can't field. So if you can find a decent enough combination, you can put together a decent team. So we'll give that a whirl. I need to stop losing. Thank you. 11-2. Zvorek has 3 hits. Ellis has 3 RBIs. Hinojosa's 3 hits. Goldberg wins his 12th. Briones got 10 home runs. Where did this come from? He hit 10 home runs in the last 3 years with us. He's hit 10 this year. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's completely out of nowhere. Career season for a 34-year-old backup catcher. It would be nice if there was a position for players who can't field but can hit. Yes, it's very true. But that's assuming I go to an American League team, which I might. That might make me go to an American League team just to give me that extra slot for somebody who can hit but can't field. So see, those are the things I need to think about. So that might be good. We get the win here. Aguilar hits his 41st. Is he still over an RBI a game? He is. 127 RBIs in 125 games. Maybe some situation where they could be designated as a batter for the worst bat. Yeah, maybe. That's that would be a thing. That would be interesting if that sort of thing existed. 3 games in Oklahoma City. You're such a smart ass, dude. Game 2 at OKC, another loss. So we had a 10-game lead at the start of the month. We currently have a 5-game lead. So that's just wonderful. Four to 2 in 12. Hinojosa has 2 hits. Powers has 2 hits. Jones has 2 hits. Denny doesn't get the win because Aparicio is a turd. He's not going to win 20. Has he won 20 in his career yet? No. He's won 18. And I'd love for him to get 20. He's 132 and 59 as a starting pitcher in Coors Field. This is the best draft pick we ever made. Hands down. Hurst homers again. Hinojosa hits his 30th. Jones is up to 32 home runs. Has he just had a ridiculous August? Well, July and August. I mean, he's hitting for a ton of power, too. I'll take it. Take on Milwaukee. Back-to-back wins. It'd be nice to finish the month strong here. So another good game for Goldberg. 4 hits over 8 2/3, striking out 10. Hurst had another good game. 291, 13 home runs, 34 runs knocked in. Oh, man. I'm really interested to see what his career stats end up like. I hope he stays in Coors. Goldberg's 13-9, on pace for 240 strikeouts. Yeah, I mean, this is more like it. 16-11, 378, 241 Ks and 209 innings. I would take that in a heartbeat. Game 2 against Milwaukee. So we'll get to the end of the month. We'll take a look at the stats. We'll look at whatever prospects we have in our system, and then I guess we'll call it an episode. 5 RBIs for Rodriguez, Aguilar, and Ellis. Ellis was a great pickup. Already worth more than 5 WAR. He's on pace for 46 home runs. Defensively, he's just absolutely unbelievable. Real picks up his 10th win. Okay. I'm afraid that as soon as I give the AI control over my team, they're going to do something horribly stupid with it, right? And they're going to trade people, and they're going to flip the roster around, and they're going to do something just absolutely atrociously dumb with my lineup and with my pitching staff, and that scares me. You can't trust the AI to make good decisions, and I'm just afraid they're going to do something to make it awful. That's a given. Yeah, right. No, I'll do my best not to look, so I'll just try to sim without looking at what they do. But I fully expect them to turn around and trade Jim Denny and just do something completely horrible that'll just make me really unhappy. Denny gets a 17th win. All right, so he needs 3 wins over the final month of the season. He's had 3 wins in every month except for August. So he can get there. I'd love for him to win 20 in our last year. That would just be great. The final game here. It's a 3-1 win. All right, so we finished the month, 13-15. That's not particularly good. We still have a 5-game lead that was 10 games, so that kind of sucks. But, what are you going to do? We're all over the leaderboard. Dave Hinojosa's probably going to win another MVP. He's on pace for almost 9 WAR this year. Down season from last year when he had 53 home runs, but on-base percentage still, look at on-base percentage, almost 450. Aguilar's on pace for another 53 and 50 home run and almost 106, over 160 RBIs. Denny leads the league in wins. Tony Olney, the former Colorado Rocky, won 16 games a year ago for Washington, has won 15 games this year for Atlanta. I don't know how he does it with these pitching ratings. I don't know how he's won 31 games in the last 2 seasons with these ratings. I didn't use him as a starter. I didn't use him as a pitcher at all. Maybe I should have. He's put up almost 7 WAR this year for Atlanta between offense and on the mound. He put up 8 WAR a year ago for Washington. Trading Denny is smart. The smart thing to do is to trade players at peak value just because I'm a bad DM. Hey, who won in year 1 of our online league? It was one of us. I don't remember who it was, though. So if I'm a bad GM, then you're even worse. So let's call it what it is. Yeah, he doesn't walk anybody. Yeah, I saw that. But still, that's just... Yeah, 1.4 last year, 1.3 this year. Speaking of not walking anybody, Ben Guess, the Cincinnati Reds, how's he doing? He's getting hurt all the time. 1.7 walks this year, 1.1 a year ago, 1.5 the year before that. Well, it's disappointing to see him getting hurt. He was another one of our very first draft picks. 17 walks in 175 innings. We didn't get enough out of him. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. here. That's why you play OT Network for baseball team. I get it. I get it. All right, so we got one day. Let's just sim the day. All right, so what do we have to do? Nothing. How's Ollinger doing? 10 games, 5 1/3 innings. Let's look at his splits. I just want to look at his splits. I can't look at his splits for our team, huh? Well, it's hard to tell, but it looks like he's doing much better against lefties than he I guess it's not hard to tell. He's doing much better against lefties than he is against righties, but looks like he's still pitching too much against righties. Jim Fox, one of our few prospects, is coming along. That's about it. We don't have much in the way of a minor league system at this point. AL Batter of the Month, Sam Wesniak. There we go. He's 36 years old, 37 home runs now, 5 home runs away. I said he was going to have a hot streak to get to 500. Well, now he only needs 5 home runs to get to 500 on the year. In the NL, it is Ozzie Albies, who's now 38 years old. He's wrecked. And he's going to come up just short, I think, of 3,000 hits because of the injuries. Although he's wrecked, last year he played 112 games. Beyond that, he's been relatively healthy. He missed some time here in 2029. Pitcher of the Month in the AL, Gerardo Lupino. In the NL, Roylan Gus. Ken Nelson is your Rookie of the Month in the AL, and Bobby Turner in the National League. So we're 82-53. 5-game lead over the Dodgers as we go into the final month of our final regular season here with the Colorado Rockies. We'll start with our offensive stats. Hinojosa, 30 home runs, 64 knocked in. We just talked about him, a 161 OPS plus, almost 7.5 WAR. Steve Ellis was a great trade pickup for us, almost 40 home runs. BABIP's a little light, but his OPS plus is 113. He's been great. We don't steal any bases, but I don't care about that. Drew Jones, again, just out of nowhere, having a great season after 2 awful, awful years. Has been good for 5 WAR and playing really well in the outfield again this year. So it looks like a time machine for Drew Jones going back a few years. If he had become his horophobia, he could have been the next Rocky Hall of Famer. I think he'll still go in as a Rocky. We'll see. We will see. Manny Aguilar's on pace for 53 and 161, another 6 WAR season out of our Rule 5 guy back in 2031. Drew Bowser's having another pretty good year considering his ratings, I'm completely fine with what he's given us offensively over the years. Defensively, he's been fantastic at second base this year. Last year, we played him at short. He was a little out of position at short, I think, but he's doing a great job at second this year. We have him signed up for 2 more years after this. Zavorak will probably move on, depending on what the AI chooses to do with him. I wouldn't bring him back because his ARB number is nearly $11 million, and I don't need an $11 million backup infielder. Andy Powers has taken a step backwards this year. If you can consider 350, 400, 511 a step backwards. He hit 421 a year ago, so he hasn't been quite the same player. Still on pace only to play about 100 games, and his ARB number jumps up next year. I would think long and hard about trading him next season. The AI will likely sign him. We'll see what happens. Again, Briones with a out of nowhere season, 10 home runs, 35 RBIs. Jared Hurst is going to be an absolute monster in Coors if he's allowed to develop and play. 10 years, 100 minutes. It's a possibility. Stuckey was a Rule 5 guy who's kind of handled himself pretty well this year as a backup outfielder / pinch hitter. He's been a nice option off the bench. Ferguson continues to hang around. He was a first-round pick for us back in 2028. Has never really hit. You can see he's never been over 200 except for 1 year. But he's got some pop, and because he was a first-round pick, I have a difficult time giving up on him. And then Neil and Rodriguez have been poop. Offensively, or pitching, Denny 17-3, so he's got an outside shot at 20 wins. He's already at 6 WAR. Goldberg 14-9. He's had a great 3-month stretch. So is Elliott Shaw. Shaw had a really, really rough start to the season. His April was awful. His August wasn't particularly good either, but May, June, and July, he was fantastic. He'll likely be gone at the end of the year. Well, I can say that. I don't know. $14 million, his contract. He's compensation eligible. I don't know what the AI is going to do. Gonzalez hasn't been good since we brought him back, but I guess he's been a little below average. But the walks are in line. He's getting up more home runs. It's the home runs, compared to his time in Arizona. His strikeouts are up. His walks are exactly the same. He's given up 10 home runs in 38 innings after giving up 9 in 110 innings in Arizona. Israel, I say his name as Real. To me, I don't call him Israel Real. I call him Israel Real. That's how I pronounce it. He's from the Dominican, so I would go with Real. He's been okay. 4.33 FIP, 2.5 WAR, 104 ERA plus. First full season, he pitched a little bit for us. Pitched about half the season for us last year. But a young, cheap starter for a team that is going to need that. Rocker as a bullpen arm, honestly, I expected more. He struck out 63 in 43 innings, and he stayed, for the most part, healthy. But I anticipated that he would deliver more, but that's fine. Munez, if I were running this team, I would move on from him after this year, making $12 million. Don't know what the AI is going to do, though, so we'll see. Brackman has been really, really solid. We got him in a trade with Tampa a couple years ago. He's been really good for 2.5 years now as a swing guy for us, both as a starter and a reliever. He's been good. Satterfield, not as good as last year. Not nearly as good as last year, but still quite good. He's actually pitched more this year. Giving up a few more home runs, couple more walks. But all in all, still a great season. Over 100 strikeouts in 68 innings. McElfresh was better, much better as a reliever than he was as a starter. But long term, I would want him as a starter. He's got far more value to the team as a starter than he does as a reliever with that stamina and those pitches. And Robert, yeah. I didn't know how to pronounce it. And I live in Chicago, and it took me forever. And I have, obviously plenty of friends that are White Sox fans, and I had no idea how to pronounce it. But Robert. And then Jimmy Slack, who we picked up at the trade deadline, has been actually really good. 39 strikeouts in 19 innings. He's been fantastic. So that's the team. That is the team. Let's look at we'll look at the pipeline. Not that any of these players are going to make a difference now. Bouchage will be up next season more than likely if the AI is not completely incompetent. Hurst, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with him. So I guess on Wednesday that episode will be the final episode of of my Out of the Park Baseball 22 playthrough with the Rockies. We've done, like I said, probably 60 or 65 videos at this point over the 15 seasons. We'll finish it up on Wednesday, and then I'll sim ahead probably till 2050. Between Wednesday and Sunday, and and we'll do a retrospective next Sunday, and then the following Sunday we'll start our draft to glory. So I think that's gonna do it. We've been going for about 2.5 hours. I think that's probably pretty good here. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. I appreciate you coming and spending some time with me here this Sunday night and getting your drops, whether you were here for the drops or not, or whether you were here only for the drops. Either way, I appreciate you coming and hanging out, and I'll talk to everybody again next Sunday. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your weekend. See ya.